Don't start a new Minecraft world, but if you're going to, make sure you avoid the easy mistakes that many people fall into so that you won't be back here in a few weeks doing the exact same thing again, because that's not productive, sustainable, or fun, and ultimately it's important to avoid these mistakes because in this game, having a world that you love is often the most fun. I'm going through the 12 most common mistakes that I see people making, and we're going to start by mentioning that not subscribing to the channels that you like on YouTube is a great way to avoid seeing their videos, and although the Minecraft equivalent of that tip is probably to make sure you have enough food or make sure you get transportation and maps down, those are things you'll appreciate later, I think the first thing we need to talk about is going into a world without any consideration. This is such an easy mistake to make, and of course you're going to do it the first time you play Minecraft. You kind of want to relive that joy of just pressing create world and seeing what happens, but there are quite a few things you should consider just for a few seconds before you press create world that future you will thank you so much. You can save yourself literally dozens of hours with a few dozens of seconds right now by just considering, do you want to start with a map? This is an option you have in Minecraft, and this can be something that adds to your exploration or that takes away from it. Do you want a bonus chest, or do you want to chop down a tree the normal way the first time? Even more important than that though is whether you're going to use a seed. A seed is a way to predetermine the Minecraft world, and there are some stunning choices out there. All you need to do is Google or YouTube search 1 point and then the version and then whatever seed you're particularly looking for, and you'll find some incredible examples. Honestly, some of these seeds go a little bit far. I'll admit some of them on my channel are incredibly OP, giving you so much stuff at the spawn, and some of these seeds can give you an extreme challenge the other way where it's terrible and you'd never want it, but that makes Minecraft harder. But you have the choice of how easy or hard or scenic or ugly you make your starting Minecraft seed, so at least consider it before starting a brand new world. And once you do start that new world, I want to just give this tip before anything else: don't make wooden tools. I mean, for real, if you're starting a new world and you think you'll be in it for 15 minutes, of course you should make a wooden axe, because you might not ever get to the point where you pass that. However, for anyone who's playing a Minecraft world for more than 20 minutes or so, you really should make a wooden pickaxe, mine yourself some stone, use that to make a stone pickaxe, and now you'll never need a wooden tool again. And in case you think, but what if I don't see stone? You are always near stone. Are you in a village? There's stone all over the houses. Are you in a biome where you don't see stone exposed? Dig down 3 blocks. There is stone everywhere, and the difference between a wooden and a stone axe, or the difference between a wooden and stone shovel when it comes to mining most blocks, is enough that you really should care. And that is why immediately just don't make wooden tools. I will die on the hill that it is the dumbest thing you can do, but the only thing that is dumber, that will literally cause you to die on a hill somewhere, is neglecting food. It can be really tempting and easy to just gather and scavenge food as you go, but it's actually a terrible long-term game strategy, because what happens when you get to the Nether and you run out of food? Well, you're going to die and you're going to be demotivated because you've lost all of your stuff. So instead of getting to that point, you should find food as your first priority. The very first thing you do in your world should be trying to find food. If you do this, you are setting yourself up for success. You might think, where am I going to find food? I can't exactly make an AFK chicken farm or anything. However, the easiest sources of food on a brand new world are just to, if you're in a jungle, mine some melons. You get a ton of melons for each block, and it will at least keep you alive. Or if you see sea anywhere nearby, you can take the kelp, smelt it up, and you've got technically food. Or you can kill a bunch of fish, because they'll spawn in ridiculous quantities. Just kill 20 or 30 fish and you'll be in a really good location. Or just go fishing. If you have a single block of water somewhere, use a fishing rod and it technically works. I don't know how any fish are meant to spawn in this water, but we don't question it. We just accept the beauty that is Minecraft, and ultimately the thing that is better than any of that is the fact that you can find hay bales all around villages. Hay bales are basically wheat blocks. They're made up of 9 wheat, and not only can you sell this wheat right back to the villagers, I mean, they gathered it, they collected it, they put it in bales, and you can get emeralds from it. Feels a little unethical, but you can also take it to stop yourself from starving, which when you think about it is much less unethical. You're basically a homeless person when you spawn into a Minecraft world. In fact, you're literally a homeless person, and the villagers are kindly choosing to feed you. Make sure you take them up on their offer. However, getting food will not stop you from being homeless, and indeed, something you're going to need to do before you even consider starting a home is doing a bit of exploration. However, a big mistake lots of people make is going wild on the exploration. The truth is that almost every Minecraft world will have something beautiful just a few hundred blocks from spawn. Consider checking it in a circular radius rather than just going wildly in one direction, or, hoping for the best underwater or something. And the biggest reason for this is that when someone joins your world in the future, you want it to be an easy experience for them. Even me, someone who plays exclusively single-player Minecraft, I have to admit having people join my world and being immediately where they want to be is very, very convenient, and so have something, ideally a main base, but if nothing else, just some form of trail to something interesting that people should see when they first load into your world, maybe even yourself on a different account, but that is something you need to make sure you're doing. But something else you need to do is specifically not explore areas. This sounds crazy, but the next update might add a new biome or two, or indeed every update adds something new to world generation, whether it's an ore type or a structure or anything like that, and if you've already explored tens of thousands of blocks in every direction, then you'll have to go even further to find the new features. Personally, what I recommend doing is exploring some world size, maybe 1,000 by 1,000, and then traveling in specific directions at specific times when you're going exploring, specifically for a woodland mansion or an ocean monument. And if you know the layout of your world, then you'll be able to go specifically only to the bits of the worlds that you're going to need to. This is something that's made much handier by using chunk base or something, but that goes back to the seed thing. You can decide for yourself whether you want to use a particular seed that's really good, and you can decide for yourself whether to use a seed searcher, but in either case, you need to document your world, which we'll come back to later. Right after I mention the most important thing, before we even start building a base, don't ignore your chest monster. This is something that I'll just freely admit I do terribly, and you can see the downsides that it has. After every big project, you want to just empty your inventory into a random chest, or even a series of chests, but then when you want to find those items, you have to look through hundreds of chests just to find them. Something you should do before anything else, maybe even before building your first house or base, is to have a decent chest organization system. Personally, what I love to do is make a giant chest, which I fill with chests. There are so many different ways to make this design that I personally love, but there are just lots of different ways you can organize your storage. Maybe it's the barrel filled with barrels, the chest filled with chests, or maybe it's just a room where you clearly label where things are, but in any case, you need to make sure you get this right. Don't ignore your chest monster, or it's going to grow and grow, and all of those items left behind are even more painful if you decide to start a new world, something which is going to be more painful and more likely when you don't know where your stuff is. Speaking of not knowing where stuff is, don't base without a purpose. When I first started playing Minecraft, I would build my house wherever I humanly wanted to, and this is a great way to make your first, second, maybe even your third house on different worlds. However, something that is very important if you want to maximize your odds of enjoying your world are to make sure that you build your base near something concrete. What does that mean? Well, everything in Minecraft can be moved. You can take a plains biome and you can kill all of the villagers, and then you can put new villagers back there, and then you can substitute all of the blocks to make it look like a desert. Everything in Minecraft is movable besides just a few things, that being the underlying biome. Even if you move all of the desert blocks into a plains, it won't quite be a desert because still, you'll notice different mobs will spawn, and also it will rain there, unlike a real desert. Something I can tell you from painful experience, sadly, but also there are all sorts of other things that are immovable in Minecraft. A monster spawner cannot be silk touched or moved, it exists in one place, and so if you want a mob farm to always be running while you're nearby, make sure to place your house near a mob spawner, and then every time you're playing around with chests or you're smelting things or brewing or just going a little AFK looking at the beauty you've created, then your mob spawner will be running. The same is true for amethyst clusters. They will only grow from budding amethyst, and budding amethyst cannot be moved around, which means that if there is budding amethyst and a geode below your base, then you'll always have some amethyst growing. There are lots of things in Minecraft that can't be moved, and the simplest way to put it is anything biome or, I guess first generation specific is something you should watch out for. However, at the same time, this is almost going the opposite direction, but make sure to find the balance, because if you go too far from your spawn, something you need to consider is there is a chance that your bed goes missing. Either a creeper explodes it, or if you're playing with bad friends, maybe they steal your bed, or maybe they're good friends and they just do mean things to you and that's how your relationship works. I'm not going to judge you for that. However, in either case, being far away from spawn is going to result in a very painful walk from the spawn to your base, which you just don't want to do, and so you should always be prepared for the eventuality where obviously your bed blows up. And also, you should be prepared for the eventuality that at one point you really, really want a mob farm, or you really, really want some budding crystals, or you just want to be in a biome with no rain and snow. Those things are all considerable. Or rather, you don't want rain, you want snow. I love snow, I think it's wonderful. But this video isn't about things I love, it's about all of the things you should not, like gravel, phantoms, and ignoring villagers. Or even, let's go a step further and say neglecting those villagers. Because sure, villagers are annoying. Even just running through the village, they'll usually get in the way somehow. Working with them can be even more frustrating because how does any of this really work? However, they are exceptionally useful to get many resources, and even more useful than that if you're playing a super flat. It might seem like there's no harm in just ignoring them, but the reason you won't want to do that is because when you go past a village, if you don't keep them safe, they're going to get out and they're going to potentially be at risk of zombification. In fact, when you find a village, if it's anywhere near where you intend to set up a base, even if you don't want to use it right now, you will want to at some point, and future you will thank you so much if you just torch up the area at least a little bit, and if you block all of the villagers inside of the house so that most mobs can't get in. This will save you a lot of heartache later on, and it will allow you to get all sorts of amazing things from crop farms, iron farms, raid farms, or even just the trading resources and getting a large amount of emeralds. This is a truly amazing part of Minecraft, and you can ignore it for now, but you shouldn't ignore it forever. If you want to build a long-term world, this is going to be something you shouldn't ignore. But yeah, something that really comes up that relates to this whole video is forgetting your plans. This is something you shouldn't do. I mean, no one ever says like, oh yeah, here's 5 tips to help you out in life. Ignore all your plans and forget what you're doing and you'll have a much better time. And that's because we all instinctively do this, and it can be a really great way to enjoy yourself, but having great planning is really important too. When you see something on Reddit or something your favorite YouTuber has done that really inspires you and makes you want to do something like it in your own world, make sure that you write it down. This can be done in a physical notebook, it can be done in a digital set of notes, it can be done inside your own Minecraft world on a wall written with ideas at the top. My friend Mogswamp has done this for years in his world, and it works really well for them, but make sure that you make a list, and when you finish one project, make sure to come back to this to tick it off. That's very satisfying, but also to see what you want to do next. It can be oh so easy to think, what am I doing in Minecraft right now? When the truth is you have a bunch of ideas that you've just forgotten about that you would love to know right now, but past you hasn't done you present you the favor of writing all of those ideas somewhere. Have a notebook, have a digital note, have a wall in your world even, but have something that lets you know what you want to do, because there's tons of inspiration inside of you, and right now you just don't have a clue. Also, speaking on the same line, transportation is so important and too many ignore it. Don't neglect transportation at all. Whether it's a sky rail system, a blue ice pathway, some speed potion horses, a nether hub, or even just clearing out swaths of your nether to allow flying from one portal to another, there are so many different ways to get around your Minecraft world, and you should focus on at least one of them. I think the nether hub is the easiest way because, I mean, the nether basically exists. You just have to mine a few pathways through it. This is the most common, easy beginning way to link various projects together, but if you want to freeform explore, get yourself a horse. If you want to build the fastest form of travel possible, make yourself a blue ice pathway, maybe even in the nether, and doing this is something that is going to be incredibly important for the long term of your world, because you're going to need to make your first base, then you might want a project that is near a monster spawner, then you might want to have a project in a cave somewhere, and as you do all of these things in very different locations, getting around them is going to be super important, and wasting your time walking is not something you should do. I mean, do you want to do that? You don't want to do that. Speaking of things you don't want to do, sticking inside your comfort zone. This is life advice as a whole. It is too easy to do the things you already know how to do, because that's what you're going to instinctively and reflexively do. Training new behaviors into yourself is the most important thing. If you want to learn, for instance, you want to get really in shape, you don't just one time do something new, you try to build that into your comfort zone. If you're a builder, try doing a technical automatic farm. It's going to be complex and you're going to hate redstone by the end, but you're going to learn a brand new skill, and it's going to be amazing to have that in your world. If you're the sort of person who finds themselves hopping into creative or giving yourself lots of items because, it's just one-time cheating, consider like just doing a destruction project. I think there are so many different projects and there's hundreds of ways to play Minecraft, thousands maybe even, and stepping outside of what you know and doing something different will be really fun. It might not work out, that's fine. You'll have an experience which will help you guide and help you know that you're doing something that you enjoy, but either way, variety is the spice of life, and giving it a go will reinvigorate your game in a way that you really need to give a shot. Worst case, it's likely to remind you why you like the game the way you normally play it. Personally, I love playing on the weird challenge worlds that I do because they make me appreciate my Let's Play world world so much more, and that's why you shouldn't stick to your comfort world. But there's one thing that's even more important than that, and that's something will come right after I mention that you shouldn't concentrate too much. You can have more than one project on the go at a time. Personally, I always have a dozen projects or so that I'm interested in, because then if I ever get inspiration to work on one, I can hop on the world and do precisely that. There are still so many things I have left to do, and that's actually a good thing in some ways. Some people are absolute, neat freaks and need to have everything done all the time, but if you're trying to destroy an entire basalt delta, maybe you should take a little break to work on your villager trading hall. The way that anything is best enjoyed in life is kind of along the same lines of making sure that you take breaks and you do something different. You work on a mega project here, you work on something over there, and having a world that can fill this role of all of your different worlds right now is something that will help you have something amazing that you'll want to show off in a while. This is why I always recommend documenting things just as you're going, because you'll really see the progress you make a lot better as you work on all these different things, and that is why the final point here is the most important one. Don't listen to other people. And yes, I'm 100% aware of the irony of a YouTuber telling you not to listen to people, but trust me, when it comes to every new Minecraft world, it seems to be spurred on by, oh yeah, someone says we should totally get back into Minecraft, or you see a new update and you think, wow, I'd like to go see that one new thing. Don't necessarily just listen to people, because Minecraft is a sandbox game. That means everyone gets to play their own way. Taking inspiration is a really great idea, but consider that you can do anything you want any of the time. Have an idea and work with it, and if someone gives you constructive criticism, take that into account. But if someone says they don't like what you're doing, that doesn't matter. If you're enjoying Minecraft, that is all that matters. If you're enjoying something that you're doing in any aspect of life, that is the thing that is great, and that is the thing that makes you happy. Do what you want, do it how you do it, and do it in the time scale that you want. Because ultimately, when it comes to Minecraft, it is the one game
no one can tell you what you can or cannot do.
And that's why I'm going to stop telling you things you shouldn't do and give you the freedom to go make your new Minecraft world. Whether it lasts 10 minutes or 10 years, I hope you have a blast doing it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please subscribe, it feeds the wife and kids, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.